Hi everybody. First off, again, thank you for your guys' patience. This has been a tough year for everybody, and not only that, but it is also the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. Happy birthday to the Pokemon Company, to Nintendo, to Game Freak, to the TCG companies helping Pokemon, and let's just get going on this journey. I'll tell you kind of what I've been doing these past couple of months. Good old Dewford. So yeah, because it's the pandemic and it's also Pokemon's 25th anniversary, there's been a lot of renewed interest in Pokemon. You might have seen my Twitter a little bit. It's just gone crazy. Let me just check my party real quick. So we got Shroomish here. Okay. We got Ralts powering up. Yep, just learned Confusion. Cascoon, Silcoon, they still need to evolve. Scout. Good old Scout. Oh my goodness, it's been a while, girl. And then Zubat. Alright. And I need to check the Pokedex. Did I just need to check and make sure. Because I think this is a Pokemon that I need. Okay, so I can find him in... No, actually, I don't think that's in the cave. We'll search for him later. We don't need him right now. But we are gonna grind a little bit for the gym because Brawly can get a little intense. But yes, it is Pokemon's 25th anniversary. I am sadly older than Pokemon, but I love the franchise, and as soon as I found out it was the birthday anniversary, I kind of went a little nuts. Let me get started going and training here. Again, we're training Shroomish, and Ralts is getting the experience, so we'll keep that up for a little bit. We'll just stick around here. But, alright, there we go. Just adjusting my volume so I can hear myself. So, I first realized that it was the Pokemon's anniversary when I heard about the McDonald's promotions. So there I was, minding my own business, and the beginning of February rolls around, and I see that, you know, there's gonna be a Pokemon promotion for Pokemon's 25th anniversary. And I got really excited, and obviously I didn't know what lay in store for me, but I got super excited, and my husband and I, we went and got some Pokemon TCG cards right away. Super exciting. And it was just really fun. Within the next few days, most of the McDonald's in the area, they actually ran out of Pokemon cards, because as we know, there were a lot of people scalping, trying to buy up all the stock so that it wouldn't be available to anybody else, so that everybody could make stupid money on people who just wanted to enjoy the products. Now, I work in law enforcement, so I know that this is not illegal, but it is immoral. And it's absolutely just the scummiest thing that you can do. Never mind. But but literally, like, one of the scummiest things that you can do as a human being is take advantage of people. And thankfully the McDonald's in my area were good. They had a limit of you could only purchase 5 packs per person, per order, basically. I know that most McDonald's were not as stringent, and so for me, there's 4 McDonald's in my area, and one of them did run out within a couple of days. The other 3 had that limit of you can only purchase 5 per day. And so I was able to get Pokemon cards up until, like, a couple of days before the promo ended, which was fantastic. I was happy to get some cards, and I knew that the kids in the valley were happy to get some cards, and it was just... Oh my goodness, I'm so glad that the children were not robbed of enjoying their franchise, their one thing that, you know, might have made their day. I don't know. I don't hang out with a lot of children, but, you know, I really wanted that for the kids, because this is a difficult time for everybody. And the fact that scalpers are going out and making it, like, 10 times worse for people, like, that really made me angry. But yes, I got myself a binder, and I started collecting the Pokemon promos from McDonald's, and I did not want to collect all of them. I have all of the characters non-holographic, but finding the holographics, I only wanted the 1st generation up to the 3rd generation. And then I just happened to get, like, the Piplup, and the Piplup is just really cute, so I decided to keep that one. And then I also ended up getting all 3 of the Kalos starters, 6th generation, so that was the generation that got me back into Pokemon, so I figured I gotta keep those, right? But other than that... Oh, and then I also kept the Rowlet one, because I like Rowlet. But as far as the rest of the cards go, I'm not a die-hard cards person, so, like, it didn't matter to me to collect all of them, you know? But I got as many cards as I wanted, and I know the children in the valley all got as many cards as they wanted, hopefully. Me and my husband had a really good experience with the McDonald's promo, and I know that's not everyone's story. And if you weren't able to get Pokemon cards, I am truly deeply very sorry. That should not have happened. I would be angry at those McDonald's for not handling it the way that they could have. But yes, I was able to get the cards that I wanted, and then the promo ended, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how much fun it was opening packs. Like, the Pokemon promos for McDonald's were just 4 cards, 3 regular, and then 1 holographic, right? But I forgot how fun that was, you know? Because I didn't get very many TCG packs growing up. But I thought it was fun. So I decided, hey, I'd like to get some more TCG products, because I like the art. And then I learned about the Shining Fates Shiny Crobat VMAX box. And I've shown you guys my very first shiny Pokemon that I caught on Pokemon Ruby. Unfortunately, it wasn't a legitimate version, but I still have that Zubat, and it is technically the first one that I caught, besides the Tentacool. And they had a shiny Crobat box for Pokemon cards, and I very much wanted that. And so I started trying to find it, and I was starting to try and find other packs too, because I realized, like, wow, there's some really cool art on some of the newer cards. And I'll talk a little bit later about how much I love art. But you know, I'm looking at the cards and all of these people opening packs on YouTube and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these look great, and I'd like to get some. You know, I'm not a hardcore TCG person, but I love the art, and so I was like, hey, I'll grab a couple. I did not realize just how far gone the scalpers were being. Because I went to no, it wasn't Target, I went to Walmart. And I looked around for Pokemon cards, and bare bones. Bare bones. Nothing there. So then I talked to one of the associates, and I was like, hey, what are your restock days? And they told me when the restock days were. And they told me, yeah, they usually come, you know, early in the morning, so if you want to get some Pokemon cards, you may have to come in early. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I go in the next day, which is one of the restock days. Nothing. I go in the second restock day. Nothing. And thankfully, like, as I was waiting for cards, there was like a group of people there also waiting for cards. And they are definitely more hardcore into the TCG than I am. Oh no, sure, no. Oh. Sorry, sure, yes, I will bring Ralts in here. You're probably strong enough to take that out. I'm sorry, I was not paying attention, Shermish. But yeah, there you go. Okay, let's go revive Shermish. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, I started talking to the other people who were more hardcore TCG people. TCG, if you're not familiar, trading card game. So I got talking with them, and they helped me find out some other places that I could find Pokemon cards if I really wanted some. And, and then I of course I went to GameStop, and they had their pre-ordered Pokemon stuff had been sold out for ages. It was just the worst situation. I was starting to feel really bummed. I was like, sorry, I just want to, sometimes when I'm talking I'm not paying attention. Okay, I did heal. Okay, let's go back. But I was starting to get really bummed out because I'm not a hardcore Pokemon TCG fan, but I just wanted to feel like I'm celebrating Pokemon's birthday with them, you know? Like, I truly wanted to feel like I was out there enjoying the products, showing my appreciation, and also, you know, because I'm starting this channel, just paying homage to a wonderful, beautiful franchise that I love. And realizing very quickly that, you know, because of the increased popularity, specifically with people looking to take advantage of the fans of the franchise, I was starting to lose hope, guys. But then the day that the Shiny Crobat box released, I went in again. Still nothing in the morning. I was really feeling like I was not going to get that box. I was feeling like I really was not going to get that box. So I waited around all day checking. There's a couple of Walmarts in my area, and also there was GameStop. And I checked in on all of them throughout the day, and eventually, like, at about, like, 2:30, I was just like, okay, fine, whatever, I give up. You know, maybe I'll find it later. But then, my husband and I, we went to dinner, and it was by this game store. And we went to this game store. I'm not going to tell you what the name of the game store is because it's not as big as GameStop, and also we don't want to be rude to people, but this game store had the box. And also the Dragapult one. But they had the boxes. They were selling them for $90. And I really wanted it, but I'm not hardcore enough to pay that money, right? I'm not one to drop $100 on just a couple of things. So I had to pass that one up, unfortunately, but the Walmart that I had checked earlier was close by. And I asked my husband, I was like, okay, I feel like I should go back and look. Are you okay if I go back and look? And he was like, yep, yeah, go ahead, go do that. So he dropped me off in the front, and I was, you know, because I didn't know, I was done, but in the back of my head, I felt prompted that I should look again, you know. And so I did. I went and ran in, and I saw that there were signs that it had been restocked, because in my area, it wasn't just the Pokemon cards that had been scalped. Magic, there's a lot of Magic cards gone. There was, all the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff was gone. And even all of the sports trading cards, weirdly enough, like, all of that was gone. Everything is just gone. And so when I went to the area where the Pokemon cards are, I saw that there were the sports cards on the shelf. So I was like, okay, they've restocked. And I saw there were a bunch of people, and I was like, oh crap, I bet I missed it. Like, but I still checked, still looked, and there on the shelf was this thing. I was so happy. I was so happy, guys. Oh my goodness, I was so happy. Like, I saw this, and my mind literally went blank. I was just like, I don't... So, TheJWittz has a gaming channel, an old gaming channel. It's called Witz Gaming. Shout out to him for playing Spelunky. He had a series where he was trying to beat Spelunky and win all the achievements and everything. And one of his videos specifically, he was trying to get to and beat the hell level of Spelunky. And when he finally did it, he just yells, "Run, Charlie! Run as fast as you can! Yeah!" And those were literally the words that were going through my head as I saw this box on the shelf. I saw it, I grabbed it, I looked around, and I tried to keep myself from running to the self-checkout because I felt like someone was gonna come and grab this out of my hands at some point. I could not believe it. And it's just so beautiful, right? I got this like 2-3 weeks ago. I still haven't opened it because I love it. And it just reminds me that there is still goodness in the world and still hope for, like, oh man, I'm just, oh, it's so beautiful. It's just beautiful as is. I know that eventually I'm going to open it, but like, the presentation of this is gorgeous. It's just so pretty, guys. I'm sorry, we need to progress in this game, but I did. I got so excited with that. It really made a hard week so much better. It really did. And well, let's switch these two. You're gonna be able to KO more people. And then I'm gonna switch you so that you can just spam confusion. Okay. Now we're good. But yeah, I could not believe it. I could not believe that I actually got one on the day that it released, despite all of these people coming in and, you know, basically the only other thing I remember being on the shelves was the little blister packs where there's like 1 or 2 or 3 packs with like a promo card and a coin. Or no, I think it was like 1 pack and then a promo and then a coin. But I only remember seeing that, and I only remember seeing that, and this was the last box of this. This was the very last one. And I don't remember seeing any other higher ticket items. I don't remember. My mind just blanked. And I just calmly, but very anxiously walked to the self-checkout to make sure that I could purchase that box. And I bought it for MSRP, which was like $45, no, it was like $42. I am not a person to rub it in people's faces, but I was very tempted to run over to that other game store and be like, suck it! Oh, man. But that was such a harrowing experience. I didn't feel the need to, like, wait every day to wait until Pokemon stuff restocked. I'm happy with what I have now. And I posted it on Facebook and Twitter like a while ago. Oh, there's a Geodude there. I suppose I could catch one. I'm gonna catch this one. We can get another one later, but I'm just gonna catch it because we can. Just so I don't have to worry about it later. Yeah! Good job. Geodude sleeps deeply, it buries itself halfway into the ground. It will not awaken even if hikers step on it unwittingly. Oh. In the morning, this Pokemon rolls downhill in search of food. Aww. No. Thank you. Now we don't have to look for one of those later. But yeah, I mean, I did want to open more cards, so like I've gone to like my local dollar stores, and they've had the 3-card packs. Those have been really fun. It's cause I don't need the super fancy cards. Like some of them look good, not all of them look good. And like I just really like the portraiture of the regular Pokemon. I mean, not all of those look, you know, super great either, but I love them, and I would like to add those to my collection. So, yeah, so Dollar Tree, I've been able to grab, like, I will admit I'm not as conservative going to Dollar Tree. I will grab max 15 at a time. Just because 3 cards in 1 pack is $1, because it's the dollar store, everything's $1. So I'm not as conservative with that, but I spend like $15, $17 in tax, for Pokemon cards. But I've also started looking at my local game stores because they do buy back cards. They do buy back cards, and you know, I just it's definitely because I love the art. I have let's see. I have sorry, I'm checking my notes because this is segmenting into another love of my life. I love art. And I don't know if it started with Pokemon. I don't know if it started... I mean... It might have started with my art class. Because in elementary school, I had a really good art class. We went to art class every Friday. Every Friday, we just went to art class. And there, like, I learned a little bit about artists, but it was more about, like, I think it was more about, like, subject matter and, like, learning how to draw certain things. And I really liked that. I remember specifically, like, we had a lesson about, so most people will say his name is Van Gogh, because he lived in France, and so I'm sure the French called him Van Gogh, but he's actually Dutch, and I've been told that the Dutch way to say his name is Van Gogh. But that sounds pretty pretentious. I want to respect his name by saying Van Gogh, but I also don't want to sound like I'm like up my nose, you know. And what I know, but I loved his artwork. I love post-impressionism and traditional impressionism. Just the movement in the pictures, like it feels real. It feels like they captured the movement of the scenery, not just the colors, but the literal movement in the colors and the shifting of the light and the water, and I don't know, it's just pretty, okay? Most people say that art is subjective anyways, but I don't know, I just love art. I love the way that it makes me feel. I love how everything is cohesive in the arrangement of the still life, or in the colors that all come together, or even like the symbolism behind it. It's just very aesthetically pleasing to me. But it conflicted with me growing up because I very much... I don't know if this came from myself or from my family, but I very much thought that what use does art have? Like, yeah, it looks pretty, but it didn't really fully internalize the fact that being beautiful is a use. If that makes sense. So I always had, I don't know, like, I loved art, but it just felt not useful, if that makes sense. So, like, the Pokemon TCG, again. I'm not big into the TCG just because you spend $4 or $5 for a few cards, and maybe there's some value in it, but it's card packs are. I just realized this past month, having gotten more TCG cards. TCG cards are legal gambling. Because you don't know what you're getting in those packs. And it costs money, and you're not guaranteed a return on investment. Some of the cards, if you happen to get one, yes, you will have a return on your investment, but not guaranteed. And anyways, I didn't collect cards for the monetary value. Again, I liked the cards because they looked nice. My first Pokemon TCG card from a pack, the first one that I received was a Ponyta card. I told you about that from when I was in kindergarten. But the first pack that I opened was, I think it was the Jungle Pidgeot. That was my rare. It was not hollow. But I didn't care. I thought it looked so cool. Like, I still have that card. I still have all of the cards that my sister and I opened when we were younger. She eventually just gave her cards to me because she lost interest. I was absolutely happy to have them, and I've kept them. Maybe I'll show you sometime, but I have my old crumbling pink binder with Pokemon stickers on them. Some of the stickers have fallen off. But I just love the art. And no, I don't think those cards have any value because I've taken them in and out of the sleeve so many times. There's probably scratches on them. I don't even want to sell them for money. I thought about selling them for money a few years ago. Glad I didn't, because I realized just how much they meant to me and how much I love them because of the art value, not because of the monetary value, the art value. And again, with that Pidgeot card, it's the one that's like, you know, in midair, like just about to like attack something, or it's defending itself from something that's attacking it in the air. I felt stuff from that, man. Like, I was a little kid and I felt stuff, okay? And even now, like, I'm collecting cards again, not because of the monetary value. Like, there are some high value cards that I really like that I'm probably won't ever buy. But they're beautiful, and my husband is giving me a small budget each month to get Pokemon stuff. If I want to. This month I went a little overboard. But I found it so great that, you know, he has been supporting me with this love of mine that, again, with the whole, like, is it useful? I don't know anybody who gets hung up on the is it useful thing. At least any young person. Like, I know a lot of the older generation are like, you know, going to art school is a waste of time, going to English school is a waste of time, you know. All of those people who are like, you know, it's a waste of time to put your time into things that are useless. And it's like, the older I've gotten, the more I've learned. You can find a use for things. Like, I grew up wanting to be an artist. That's how much I loved art. I drew a lot. And I mean, I wasn't a brilliant artist as a child. I was okay. And I was fairly observant, but starting out, I was not very good. I'm gonna go to the Pokemon Center for a little bit. Hopefully by the end of this, we'll go and battle Brawly. But I was not a good artist starting out. In kindergarten, I remember when I drew outdoor stuff, the grass was on the bottom of the page, and there might have been a tree, and then the people or animals or whatever I drew, and then again, it was not very good. And then the top of the paper, the very top of the page was blue because the sky was up, right? I was very logical, observative little kid, so I knew that the sky was above. But then I remember a turning point where it was like, I don't remember if I was in kindergarten or if I was in first grade or if I was even in second grade. I think it was kindergarten. But I remember we had just done a coloring thing in that class, and I was pretty proud of what I did. And I you know, I was hoping to get good remarks from the teacher. And you know, instead she finds this other person in the class. She had filled up the entire page with color. And she talked about how good it was, and you know, There weren't any spaces, there weren't any spaces of white. It was all, you know, it was all this big, beautiful picture that, you know, encompassed the whole use of the page. And that made an impact on me, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was bad to leave empty spaces. And I mean, like, you go to an art person now, and it's like, it's subjective, whatever, you can interpret things how you want to. But that was a revolutionary idea to me as a kid. Because the sky was up, it wasn't necessarily all around me, like as in the picture it suggested. But from that moment on, I made the effort to fill in the page and, you know, make it so that there was no white showing anywhere when there shouldn't have been white. And, you know, I liked to draw, and I loved color, and, I kept at it for a few years. I'm going over my notes. So yeah, I just went and did it, and it wasn't good. It was not good. But I kept doing it, and, you know, I used my brain trying to figure out, like, how, you know, what things looked like, and... But then like, in my young self, I got to a certain point where it was like, I know what that looks like. I know what all of this stuff is. And I stopped using my brain, and I just, you know, I got into the stupid habit of drawing from memory. Shouldn't have done that. And I got very stubborn, and I remember thinking I was really good, but then also there was, for some reason, again, I don't know if it came from my family or if it came from what I was watching, but I just felt like, you know, art isn't useful. I don't know why I thought art wasn't useful. Because then, like, I would still draw, but my goal wasn't to become an artist anymore. My goal was to, I don't know, go to school and go to college, whatever. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I couldn't do art because art wasn't useful. I think it was because I learned in art class. It could have been I learned in art class about Van Gogh's life, because he wasn't successful. He couldn't support himself or really anyone he came in contact with during his life. His paintings became famous only after his death. And I think that might have been the thing to really nail the coffin in. That was like, oh, you know, I can't get money by making art. I think that's what it was, looking back on it now. Sorry, my thoughts are kind of jumping back and forth. But art is something that I've been very passionate about, but I have just put it on the sidelines. I have just, you know, it was always something like, if I was bored in class, I would do it. You know, it wasn't... But then in 6th grade, I don't... My mom kind of kept a tab on me doing art and stuff. And so in 6th grade, she got me private art lessons, because when we moved to another state, another school, they had, like, art class once a semester, like 2 times a year. It was sad. I was so sad. I was so heartbroken. And so then my mom decided to get me some private art lessons. And that was really thoughtful of her. I hated them. I feel really bad now because, you know, it was really nice of my mom to do that, and I just should have thought that. I got bored. Because it was all about theory. It was all about, you know, you need to learn this skill and you need to do this and you need to learn about this, and it was a lot of homework. It was not a lot of fun. And now that I'm looking at, like, artists on YouTube and stuff, you know, people who do art, you know, for their living. Again, something that I thought you couldn't do, but there are people who make money from their art. I learned that now. I hated that class because it was all work and no fun, and a lot of artists these days are like, you know, you don't have to have fancy art lessons. You don't have to, you know, do stuff you don't want to do. Just draw what you want to draw. And I mean, a lot of people's suggestions now for art is just do a lot of tracing, and then once you get good at that, try to reproduce it on your own, and look at other artists and see what they do. Notice their techniques, notice the colors that they use, notice X, Y, and Z. I wish I had done more of that in 6th grade, because I don't think I would have given up art if I'd have known you could do that. But this was a very classically trained private art teacher, and she was very adamant about, you know, doing it by the way that she had been taught. And after a year, like, even less than a year, I think, I was like, Mom, this isn't fun, I don't want to do it anymore. And she was like, okay, well, you know, oh well. But even then, like, art comes in many different forms, right? So maybe I wasn't drawing as much, but I did learn some piano growing up as well. I also, I eventually learned flute. I did like flute. I really did like flute, but then we moved to a school that did not have marching band. And that made it much less fun. So again, I quit that. But I still would doodle, and at that school where there wasn't marching band, there was a better art program. So I did a lot more drawing. And I even eventually, like, this, I mean, I'll talk about it later. I did move to England at one point. I will talk more about this later. But I did move to England, and that school that I went to, it was a private all-girls school, and they had a really, really good arts program. There was traditional arts, there was technology, there was textiles. The technology class, like, I missed the first year where we did woodworking, but the second year we did plastic working, and then the last year we did some jewelry making. That was really fun. But then they had a really good art class that I loved, and I sharpened my skills there. I remember, the first art teacher I had, she really liked, I mean, obviously I was a better artist at that point, but I still wasn't, like, top tier artistry, right? But I was the only one in the class. We did a still life with glass bottles. I was the only one in the class to be able to observe that there was fabric shining through the glass. So I was the only one in the class that drew, like, the lines behind the glass. Because everyone else just drew the bottles, you know, and kind of just forgot about the glass behind it. The subject matter behind the class. So I felt pretty proud of myself for that. But then the next year, I had a different art teacher, and the I don't even remember what the project was, but I decided for the, I think it was supposed to be like a perspective drawing of like a landscape or something. But I combined it to where I was like, oh, I'm gonna create like this hurricane in the background, but instead of it looking like an actual hurricane, I'm gonna make it look like the weather forecasted hurricane, you know, with the rainbow colors. And the buildings were not to perspective. I purposefully did not do it that way, but my teacher thought that I failed the assignment, so she had me draw a building just to prove that I knew what perspective was, and I was like, okay, fine. So I drew... I was able to pick my own picture, but I drew a building, and I drew it. And it was really good. And I handed it to the teacher, and she kind of just looked at it and goes, okay, fine, whatever. So even though she wasn't pleased with that work, I made conscious decisions on that. And obviously she didn't like them, but I understood the principle of drawing a freaking building. Like... And during that whole time, my line drawing, my line drawing got really good, because it's easy to just whip out a pencil and just draw the outline of something, right? I got really good at line drawing and shading. I also started developing shading along with the line drawing. And, so yeah, I like to feel like I put that art teacher in her place. Oops. But, dude, that was a really good school. I had a lot of fun at that school. And I will be talking more about that school and living in a different country and all that later. But yeah, then, oh, oops. I guess it's time for you to come back out. And, I don't remember if it was in middle school or high school, but I read this book. I believe it's called All American Girl by Meg Cabot. Cabot? But it's basically about this girl who lives in Washington, D.C., who ends up saving the president from an assassination, and she becomes friendly with, like, the president and his son and everything, and whatever. But one of the major side plots of the book was that she was an artist. Gotta go back to the Pokemon Center. She was an artist. And she was kind of in the same boat I was. She did not like being told what to draw or how to draw it. She knew that she was good, and she knew she could be fine doing what she did. But her parents find out that she's got this, you know, inclination for drawing, and they enroll her in an art class with other people. And that's how she meets the president and his son. The son is also taking the art class, and she saved, you know, that's where the assassination happens, whatever. But I think you already did. I'm sorry. Yes, you did. Okay. Actually. Okay, yeah, you did. Sorry, everybody. But yeah, I appreciated this book. It was a good story, but also I appreciated the book far more for its art advice. Because what it taught, it basically challenged the thought of, do you draw by what you know, or do you draw by what you see? I was in the first camp. I thought I knew how to draw X, Y, and Z. I thought I knew how to draw a mug. I thought I knew how to draw shadows. I thought I knew how to color, you know, things that were white. But as the book pointed out, it was like, one of the exercises in that class was to draw an egg using colored pencils. There's no black, there's no white, just a white piece of paper and colored pencils. And this character kind of throws a fit. She's like, how am I supposed to draw this egg without any black? I honestly would have reacted the exact same way. And this art teacher was so brilliant. She was just like, well, what other colors do you see in the egg? You see the yellow from the lamp that's reflected onto the egg. You see the shadows. Are they really black, or is there some other colors in there? I drew a mug once, and I used black for the shadow. And I realized later that even though the mug was good, the shadow was black, whereas the shadow wasn't supposed to be black, it was just a darker brown, because that's how shadows work. It's just an absence of light, it's not an absence of color. So wrapping my head around that was very helpful. And then there was another exercise where it was like, draw these fruits. Draw the still life of like a basket of fruit. And this girl draws it. She thinks it's kind of stupid because she's like, I know what an apple looks like. I know what oranges look like. I know what grapes look like. And she gets done, and the art teacher points out to her, do the oranges really look like that? We know that you know what an orange is supposed to look like, but is that the orange that was actually in front of you? Was that the pineapple that was actually in front of you? And I thought that was really cool. It did kind of just blow my mind, because I didn't have anybody, I didn't have anybody challenge that before, and I hadn't ever noticed that before. And I always thought that I was a very observant child. We kind of talked about that. I always claimed that I was a very observant human being. And so the fact that I can't escape. Whatever. I always assumed that because I was an observant, smart human being, that I didn't need to learn how to draw, because I already knew how to draw. And that was really humbling and really cool to figure out, well, no, you don't actually know how to draw that. So then that challenged me to actually, like, really look closer at things. Like, is that thing really round, or is there, like, a little indent to it? Is that thing really blue, or is there a little bit of green, or a little bit of purple in there? What do the shadows look like in color? I only really started doing the shadows in color, like, recently, like, within the last year or so, because that was such a overwhelming thing for me to think about in the past. Especially where I grew up thinking that, like, again, if I didn't know where Pokemon cards were, I did not know where art supplies was. Are you kidding me? Like, all of my art supplies came from my mom. I got a sketchbook every once in a while. I got some color pencils, from just the school art supplies area. The school art supplies stuff. And eventually, I think someone gave me some charcoal stuff, and I messed around with that for a little bit. I do like charcoal drawings. I might do some more in the future, but I didn't know where supplies came from. I never questioned where does it come from? How much does it cost? Like, I never took the time to figure it out. So then this past year, especially during the pandemic, I went to Michael's and found there was art supplies there. I've gone to Joann's in the past for sewing. We'll talk about that more. I like to sew. I've gone to Joann's for sewing stuff. I had not perused the other aisles at Joann's, but there is art supplies there. And I looked and saw how much it cost, and I purchased some stuff. And only now am I really starting to delve into you know, how color affects shadow, or how shadow affects color, and how light affects color. You know, that's still very recent. And it's been so fun. It's been so good. Man, I'm looking at my time and I realize there's a lot of grinding right now. There's not a lot of action. Sorry about that. But I did have some stuff to say, and I have some more stuff to say. So yeah, I feel like my drawing has improved a lot, specifically with color. I actually did draw, I did this down here, and I did this logo up here. I hand drew that, actually. And I drew my avatar. In this, I mixed the Pokemon, the original Pokemon style, with the Kirby style. That's kind of the result of what my avatar is. Because I fell in love with the original art style. I can appreciate where Pokemon is going, but I much prefer the old watercolors that Ken Sugimori did. I much prefer the old styling of Pokemon, and that's one of the reasons why I've got Gen 3 games. Not just because I'm nostalgic, but because I love the art style. But yeah, so I've dabbled a little bit. My primary love is drawing and sketching. I've had artist block on and off when it comes to that, but recently it's just been so busy with a lot of other things. I have half a mind to just bring a sketchbook with me when I'm at work. There are some downtimes where nothing's going on, and I've caught up on all my work, and I don't have a whole lot to do, so maybe I'll bring a sketchbook. Maybe. But even though like the visual arts are my primary love, I have explored a lot of different art forms. I mentioned some of them earlier. I will definitely go into more detail in the next video. But I don't know why art felt so inaccessible to me in the past. I mean, again, there was the question of, was it useful? I didn't perceive it to be useful. Can I make money from it? I didn't perceive it to be able to make money from it. Was it fun? I thought it was fun for the most part until I took that 6th grade art class. And then of course it was always like, is it any good? I guess was the other one. Well, I think I'm getting better. I'm still not the best artist in the world, but I think I've gotten pretty good. I can obviously always improve, but I'd like to think that art is not as inaccessible to me as it used to be. And that makes me really happy because I really love art. I really do, and that's why, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of getting back into the Pokemon TCG just a little bit, because I love the art. I really do. If my young self knew that I could become an artist to draw Pokemon cards, I don't think I would have given up being an artist. Like, I'm kind of sad that I didn't realize that at a young age, that I could be an artist for Pokemon. Like, that never clicked in my head. But again, there were other things that I loved, that I was also pursuing at the time, so I mean, it's not. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to the ramblings of Officer Jazzy. I hope you're I really do hope that you're enjoying this content as much as I am. I'm sorry there wasn't much going on with the video game here, but grinding is necessary, and since grinding is necessary, I do have stuff to talk about. I really hope that you're enjoying it, because it's really fun for me to go back and really understand, you know, what I used to think versus what I think now versus, you know, what I'm planning to do in the future. And future videos I am going to go into more detail on why this is all relevant and, you know, moving forward, what I want to do, and some challenges that I've overcome. But for now, I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, tell your friends, tell your family, like and subscribe down below, and then you can, you know, click the bell icon up here to get notified when a new video is coming out. And yeah, let me know what kinds of art that you were into, I guess. And I will see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.